South Africa's #1 cheesecake needs Lancewood, South Africa's #1 cream cheese.
My name is Tina Bester, and I'm also known as the Queen of Tarts. My shop is in an observatory in Cape Town, and I spend my days baking. I've had my restaurant Queen of Tarts for 10 years, but cooking has been a passion of mine since I was a teenager. I'm here in my teaching kitchen at Queen of Tarts, and it's one of my favorite places because it actually feels like my kitchen at home. Talking of favorites, I'm going to be making my favorite cheesecake today, which is a chocolate brownie cheesecake. Chocolate is one of my favorite things, and I love a sticky, gooey brownie, and then just add a beautiful cheesecake to it. As a big cheesecake fan, I'm thrilled to be helping Lancewood find the best cheesecake in South Africa. So let's get to it. I'm pressing my well-behaved chocolate pastry into my tart tin, and I call it my well-behaved pastry because it doesn't shrink down the sides when you bake it blind. Baking blind is just when you cook it in the oven for about 10 minutes, and it just makes the pastry nice and crisp so that it doesn't go soggy once you've added your filling. And what I've done is I've just added some cocoa into my standard pastry mixture. And the great thing about this pastry is that you just press it into the tart tin. You don't need to roll it out, which is much easier. So I'm going to pop it in the oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Next step, we need to get our ingredients ready for the chocolate brownie. So I'm just going to sift together my dry ingredients. I've got some flour and cocoa, baking powder, and bicarb. It's very important to sift your dry ingredients so you can get out any lumps. I'm going to do 4 eggs. And it's very important to just crack your eggs individually into a little bowl because you don't want a rotten egg in there. I'm going to take the dry ingredients over to the cake mixer, and I'm going to add the melted butter and the caster sugar. That looks nice and creamy. I'm going to add the eggs. That looks nicely blended. And I'm going to add my dry ingredients that I sifted earlier. That looks like it's done, and I'm going to set this aside and get cracking on my cheesecake mixture. And I'm going to blend together the sugar and 450 grams of Lancewood full-fat cream cheese, which adds a lovely creaminess to the cheesecake and that little bit of extra decadence. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 egg. Get that blended beautifully. We've got all our elements ready, so now it's time to get cracking on assembling the cheesecake. Now for the fun bit. We are going to assemble the cheesecake, and I'm going to start off with layering. So I'm going to add some of the chocolate brownie mixture. Smooth that over the bottom of the tart shell. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the cream cheese mixture. So the reason why I'm layering it is so that you get a little bit of cheesecake, a little bit of brownie with every single mouthful. Add a bit more brownie mixture. And we're going to get a little bit of a swirl going as well. It's very decadent and delicious. And lastly, a good dollop of the cream cheese and a nice little marbling swirl in it. So a nice little swirl. So this goes into the oven for 30 to 40 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. I like to cut my little strawberries into hearts. Ta-da! And now I'm going to add a little bit of freshness with the strawberries. And a dusting of icing sugar, because icing sugar makes everything look pretty. And that is how you make my very favorite chocolate brownie cheesecake.
South Africa's #1 cheesecake needs Lancewood, South Africa's #1 cream cheese.